Going on, everybody? We're going to be starting the stream here in just a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes. Until then, enjoy the music. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. I only have enough time in the week to do this once a week, but I thank you all for joining me anyway. We're gonna go head right into this week's stream, and we're gonna do a little bit of a different flavor to the loop this week. I made a string loop. I just downloaded Ableton for the first time. I'm on the free trial right now. So I made a little string loop. It's one of the first things I made, so it's a little bit rough, but we're going to see if we can't build on it. And yes, I know this is Logic. Logic is what I've been using for about 5 or 6 years now. It's what I'm familiar with. And until I'm more familiar in Ableton, I won't stream there. But I can still continue to kind of create behind the scenes. So jump right into this. Show you this is the loop. It's just a 4-measure thing. I had to create it to last the entire song ahead of time, but it's just a 4-measure. Sure that it is. So that's it. That's essentially the loop. It's just real pretty strings, and that's what we're gonna build off of. Just kind of doing that. It's kind of gonna try to go somewhere dramatic with this, kind of like the soundtrack to a movie, kind of that you would hear. It's not too special. It's not like it's like a Marvel movie or anything, but we're going to start with these. There's a drum kit I like using. I have to find it first. There it is. There's a drum kit I like using. That is... Ugh, I hate when this does this. Come on, man. Stop being difficult. Okay, there we go. For some reason, my computer likes to mess up. There we go. Now, these are the dry version, but the soaked in reverb is like super dramatic. It would kind of build suspense a little bit here. Create some dynamic changes throughout it. It's gonna sound super awkward at first. But ultimately, so that's wrong. Why is that audio? This is what I mean when I say my computer quite literally just kind of messes up. Duplicate the channel. It should be MIDI. I'm gonna try to record that again. No, it's still recording as audio. It's supposed to record it as MIDI, and I'm not sure why it's not. We'll figure that out real quick. Okay, there we go. It's really slow, so it's kind of a painful build, but it's kind of one of those where you just lay back and you just let it kind of overwhelm you. We'll have them build for more, but essentially that's the dry version. Then we go in, we add in Valhalla Reverb. It's a really wonderful plugin. It's only $50 compared to most plugins that are like $200. And you kind of get something super cool. We'll set it a 2-second decay time, which means that's how long the echo lasts for. We'll make it sound like it's kind of in a bright hall, and then you got that. Yeah, that's really cool. We'll probably add in some EQ, kind of make it sound dark, so the reverb will sound dark as well. Cut off maybe at 1K, and then that's really cool. And what it does is it leaves room in the beginning, or later on, actually, I should say, in the piece for more builds and more more dramatic kind of changes. We're gonna go with one of my favorite string plugins. It's called Authentic String, not plugin, excuse me, patches. And literally all we're gonna do is mimic what we have up here. Maybe we'll raise everything up to a higher octave just to increase the drama. Yeah, it sounds about right. Mix it down so that you got this. Probably need to fix the EQ a little bit to there we go. I didn't want it to be like super overwhelming. I want it to be darker tones still, so you know. And I think maybe we will leave the toms for later down, kind of in the piece. We'll reserve those for later a little bit, just because it's a little bit too early to be kind of building. Oops. They'll get there though. They'll get there. There we go. For starters, I think now it's time to add in some horns, and the question would be, do I want to go with a synth brass or do I want to go with a studio horn? The benefit to doing a synthesizer instrument over an actual instrument is synthesizer instruments are more customizable. As long as I have data in MIDI, I can edit it any way that I want to. Unfortunately, acoustic instruments just tend to sound 10 times better. So, this is supposedly a sax right here. Which, as much as that sounds like a real sax, it still kind of sounds very square, for lack of a better term, I guess. But for my purposes, since I don't play a horn instrument, nor do I have a horn player on the stream, we'll just stick with software instruments. And again, for my purpose, these horns can be kind of layered quietly in the mix, so... Definitely want to add a flute if we're going to add acoustic instruments here. Orchestral? It's in woodwinds. Yes, it is in woodwinds. There we go. And once again, the same little... It's literally such an easy progression. It's 1, 6, 4, 3, I think. I got to remember. Yes, 3, 4. Excuse me. It's 1, 5, 3, 4. There we go. Okay. So, all together. And what we'll even do with the horn is we'll take everything up a fifth. So that's too high. So we'll take it down a fifth. Down a fourth, really, to the fifth. And harmonic, though. Actually, it is F sharp, my bad. G major. Yeah, so... all that does is create more texture, harmony, makes everything sound nice and strong. For some reason it's clipping. I'm not even really sure why, but whatever. Now we'll play with some of the pads. I think a nice pad will go underneath there. Some of these are cool, but they're just not right for what I'm looking for, so... This one's nice. Oops, not where we wanted to put it. Oh, my bad, it's cosmic dust. Yeah, there we go. So, wrong instrument, huh? So that's kind of the build, and I think that's where we'll start to bring in the toms. And we're going to change the pattern up significantly, though. There's too much going on. We'll keep that one for the more exciting parts of it, but we're going to switch the pattern up here. think what we're gonna do is first of all just clear this. What? No, just clear all the notes. Okay. All right. All we're gonna do is first of all you have to build a pickup. So you get to hear what other instruments sound like with a ton of reverb on them. They actually don't sound half bad. Think about that in the future when you need pieces of ear candy. And ear candy is just something in a song that's quite literally made for the purpose of just a random sound in your ear that's like, it just keeps things interesting. It's not the same repetitive loop over and over again. Those are quarter notes. It's not what we wanted. What we wanted was eighth notes. Actually, we want 16th notes. Every time I guess the subdivision, I guess wrong, which is weird because I'm a percussionist. I just forget sometimes what BPM I'm in. That's still wrong. Alright, slowly getting there. Yeah. I think we'll just do the same thing there as we did there, excuse me, at the halfway point of the loop. But this way, these ones will be quieter so that we can kind of create some variation and it's not like super repetitive in everybody's ears. Oops, so close. One more. We'll make the initial release hit strong because usually your emphasis has to be the strongest point, and that's always going to be on B1. Almost always. So, if you put everything together, you got... And that's kind of where the pad will drop in. Maybe even, I'm thinking, some sort of lead to kind of start giving it a groove and get it paced up. This is, yeah, I want this pad because this one is simple. And it kind of goes, just let it follow the progression. Doing a lot of copying and pasting, which I don't necessarily like, but for complex pieces of work like this, especially if I'm doing it in a stream, it'll save me time and strain down the road. I'm gonna drop this down one octave. Why is the first note D? It's not supposed to be. Something's at it. Oh, because I copied the fifth loop down. My bad. Hopefully you can kind of start to hear where we're going with this. Forgive me, I know that it's a slower moving piece. That's okay. We like doing those sometimes. If you've ever heard of an artist named Illenium, he kind of does pieces in this style too. There's a couple of other ones that do the dramatic soundtrack orchestral type pieces, and they sound phenomenal. So they're stuff that I enjoy making, so we'll keep going with them. Gotta find a lead now. Something that we can put low and soft, so we'll start in the low octaves. Yeah, not every lead is a home run. Almost, not quite. This is one of the reasons why it's taking me so long to get this good at Logic, is because Logic has a large database of sounds and they're constantly updating them. And every time the new update comes out, you have to spend a couple days, get familiar with all the sounds. Mm. Is that the fifth? Yes, it is. We'll see what that one sounds like real quick, based on the pattern I want to do. Okay, well, I can't really hear myself. Needs to be brought up. Let's try that again. And then I think the next chord, we'll do it in one take, and then we'll adjust the chords if we need to. Whoops. This is what happens when you don't have click on. That would help. That's not even the right note either. Trial and error, people. That is what we do here. And then I forgot what comes after that. I think it's this chord right here. Yeah. We'll just dub it real quick. If you're not familiar, dubbing is a short for the term overdubbing. And essentially what overdubbing means is we did the initial recording and then we noticed that there were some mistakes, so we went back and re-recorded over those mistakes. And that's why it's called overdubbing. You have dubbing and then you have overdubbing. But we just call it dubbing. So let's drop this a little bit, but we'll start it from the beginning. It's a longer piece. Bear with me, but it's a super sweet melody, super dramatic, kind of dark kind of thing. So this is what it kind of sounds like so far. Kind of where we're going with it. I think we'll have a kick on the bottom of that one. I don't know. we're on the fly here, so we're just kind of sitting with it. Sometimes I like to listen to a loop several times before I kind of figure out. God bless. Forgive me. Protect your ears. These are loud for some unknown reason. Yeah, that one's good. It's kind of got some punchiness to it, but we'll fix that. It's one of the things I love about audio engineering and producing is manipulating audio and kind of have fun with it. We're just gonna put these on every quarter note. It's that simple. I'm hearing somebody talk that's not me. Somebody in my house, likely. Interesting. I didn't know my mic was that loud. Or maybe that's just me. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and you can follow me here on Twitch, and you can also subscribe. I do these streams every Saturday. I also have other video for you to check out on YouTube, and in case you missed the stream live, the video stays up on Twitch, and it stays up on YouTube afterwards. Go ahead and hit the follow button, and make sure you tell everybody you know. Tell them to come join the streams, have some fun. Whoops. Yeah, something's off there. Hello, what happened there? Ah, okay. Our loops were not set correctly. And this would also help is if I just cut it down to there. No. I don't know if that would help, but let's... Oh, yeah, I know what to do. Okay. It's weird because the way the loop is set, it doesn't start on beat 1 since it's a pickup. So I have to manipulate it such so that when I do loop it, it makes sense. And the only reason I'm looping it, which now that I think about it, I should really be, copying it over. Not sure why I didn't, but I did now, so. Put that one over one more, and then, yeah, that seems about right. And then it'll go right back into the next one. So yeah, we got something workable here. Start from the beginning, listen to it, and see what we feel like should come next. think what we'll do is we'll start to add these back in, but instead of just playing the long, droning notes that they were playing, they're going to do plucks, sort of. Staccato. That's the word I meant to say. Oh, I have two. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I think that's... Okay, you know what? The horns are going to stay there. The flutes are not. Let's see how these sound. Huh. Okay. Start to bring them back in, and then we'll just pick a plucked pad or synth. Might make it easier, just because the plucked ones are made to be plucked. I like that one, but I've used it so much before. These are good. All we'll do is we'll remember to put reverb on them. Whoops, hit the wrong button. One of the things I really like about doing a progression like this is it's similar enough that people can kind of vibe to it, but it's different. I really like doing just about every pop song you've ever heard was in a 1-6-4-5 progression. For example, sound familiar? That's like half of the Chainsmokers songs. So it works because it sounds cool, but it also gets repetitive. Doing something like switching it and doing a 1-5-3-4 gives it a little bit of a different taste, but with still the same type of variation that people like to hear, and it uses what's called a plagal cadence. If you are not familiar with music, you have a couple different types of cadences. The one that everybody usually hears, 1-6-4-5, and then back to 1, is a full cadence. Or excuse me, it's a half. Well, it's depending on which part of the measure you're looking at, it's a full and a half. Because it goes back to 1, but technically the progression technically ends on 5. You have a deceptive cadence, which means it ends on 6. Kind of sounds like 5, but not quite. That's why it's deceptive. But then you have a plagal cadence, and the plagal is just a little bit different, and that's when it ends on 4. And that's what I use most of the time. And that's just because it's a little something different than what you're used to hearing, you know? Why not be different? So there you go. Copy the toms over, but we'll go back and do some variation. As usual, when I'm done with this piece, I will continue to work on it after the stream is over, and in the next coming weeks. So it's possible that it gets finished and it sounds a little bit different than what you heard today. But it's what we do. It's okay. It's change. It's variation. It's whatever. So we're kind of starting from here. Oops. Mute you. I don't want a piano in there. So I need something more here to help continue the build, you know? Something here, and then what we'll do is, that's kind of where the melody makes its first introduction. It'll be right there. Gotta kind of think about it a little bit, because I don't want to layer on way too much and then just have all of this crap at the beginning and then know where to go with it. You gotta be strategic enough to say later on in the song we're gonna need to add some more stuff. So for right now, let's also work on the percussion and some of the effects a little bit. If you're curious what I mean, there are reverse effects, or what I'm talking about. There are risers, there are reverse effects. Here's what a reverse effect sounds like. So it's that kind of stuff that you hear in a crime TV show that leads into the big moment. It's the one that gets your heart racing, and then when it ends, there's like an explosion or something that just makes your heart absolutely explode. That's the point. It's because they're trying to build the anticipation, and that's what we're doing here too. So that's the first step. That's a pretty basic step. We got that down. Cool. See what I mean? We also have, that was an audio file. That was a pack I downloaded from Somatics. Great company. Great group of producers over there that are just constantly working on new sounds, new melodies, new everything. They do have some free packs, so if you're a producer or DJ, check them out. We also have some software instruments. One that I like in particular is this thing called the Wavy Riser. Probably tell why I like it. It's pretty cool. It's used in a lot of early trap songs. Kind of helps with the intensity a little bit. Really can't go wrong using this, honestly. That one's Wavy effects. This up top, and then whoops. Let's do that. Yeah. So we're kind of starting to build it out slowly. I think something else needs to go here. See, I don't want to just go full blast into it, but at the same time, we are a ways into the piece already, the project already. So, let's see, how much time? About 1:25. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it progresses. I think maybe we'll add a synth bass now, or just a bass, whatever works. Usually it's a synth bass though. I only have like 5 or 6 basses here. Oops. And there's no substitute for a real bass, unfortunately. Whoops, wrong note. I always do that. And then what we end up doing is maybe even a choir. I can hear that coming too. But probably cannot hear it as much, but since this is a bass instrument and some of the stuff we have down here in the rhythm, they're kind of fighting together. Um, just because they're jerks like that, I guess. I don't know. So what I think we'll do is we'll switch these up an octave so it's out of the range, but now that we have the bass in there, the low end is still kind of filled out a bit. So we'll take all these and we will... You've got... Now you've got... I don't know why that's still doing that. I thought I cleared it. With this instrument, it's tricky. If there's any overlap between the notes, it does this weird little glide thing, which is cool if you're trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that. That's what I wanted. Something's off there. We're definitely done with this rhythm thing, so we're actually going to fade it out a little bit. So it kind of ends over here. I don't 100% like that choice, honestly, so subject to change, but we'll find out. We've got some build up at the end there. I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to try and find the cymbal roll. Hang on. There we go. That was weak. It's just weird. It's almost like I gotta do. Nah, we'll layer this with something else that I do. It's a long, time-consuming trick, but we'll do it. And once again, my computer is clipping. I think it's just because it's doing so much at once. I'm running OBS and I'm running Logic, and it's like, what are you doing to me? See what that sounds like. Okay. Now I gotta add this lead. A lot of good leads, but kind of go something along that route, maybe. I don't know. Let's we'll play with it a little bit. Still gotta be a note in the chord, though. Start with that. Doesn't go anywhere where it's supposed to, but that wasn't the point. It wasn't. I didn't start recording where I was supposed to on purpose. Because I think what's going to happen is it's just going to kind of pick up and get exciting, but like, I gotta get there. The next one would technically be... Oops. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Come on, there we go. Gotta be F sharp. I don't have an F sharp on my keyboard right now, so I gotta just do F natural and then adjust it later on. And why is it starting all the way out there? Whatever. I'm not entirely sure why I just did that, but whatever. It's gonna move this all the way back here. I thought that's where my cursor was. It was not. Whatever. Computer problems, man. We all hate them, but we all have them. Producers more than anybody. Come on. If you guys have any ideas about how you think this track should go, please put them in the chat. I am open to hearing all ideas. I don't discriminate. I have the final say on it, but sometimes it's good to get fresh blood. That's what a collaboration is. And we love collaborations. So anyway, we got to keep recording the rest of these, because technically... Oops, I got to fix that last one anyway. Hang on. And by the way, this is going to be the lead instrument, I think, that you end up hearing, but this is not going to be how it's going to start. I'm going to modulate it in some sort of way that it'll sound muffled, or it'll create this effect, basically, of, and that'll allow me to build into it still. So the next one is technically... And then it goes to 4. So we'll see how that sounds. and what I'm doing with this melody, well, I'll be 100% honest. I didn't intend it this way, but thanks to the education I have, this is how it turned out. This last note here that you hear, so first of all, this original note is the chord. It's the base of the chord. This one is technically in a different chord, but because of the interval that it takes, it sounds just a lot better than. Sometimes things don't make music theory sense, but you have to just trust your ears about what you do or do not like. And here's the weird part: is that I may like this now, and then I may hate it later, and I'll adjust it later. But for now, we'll stick with this. Oops. Yeah, that'll only go on 5. Yeah, that works, I guess. What? Whoops. It's not what I wanted. I gotta remind myself. It is. Come on. Because the thing about cadences, I told you guys, the reason this works and sounds cool is because this last note right here is the 5th. That's number 5. We're in G major, so it ends up working out somehow, some way. I don't know how. I don't know whatever. So, whoops. What the heck happened? Oh, I know what it was. So that's kind of the melody that we're working with, and I want things to start picking up from there. And what I might end up doing is replacing the string loop at that point with the string instrument that I have right here. So what you're gonna hear is this kind of. And now we kind of have somewhere to go from there to kind of build. And like I said, we'll go back and adjust that later. But kind of what we'll do is, oops. Is that the right one? Yeah, it is somehow. We'll just add these claps in here. I need my metronome. Yeah, way off on that one, but we'll fix that in the editing stage. That looks looks about right. Yeah, so quantizing is 4. Yay! Go ahead and slap wider on that. Love wider. I think we're using it sometimes a little bit as a crutch, way too much. Rhyming accidentally. But it serves great purpose. Oftentimes. Sometimes it doesn't, but what are you going to do? Can't be perfect. So at this point is where I think I would like the loop to kind of drop out from there. Let's go find the end of it though, because actually, well, here's what we'll do is we'll kind of fade it out, because otherwise it's just going to end very awkwardly. And this menu, by the way, that you're looking at is my automation menu. So what I'm doing right now is automating the volume. I'm telling the fader or the volume button to go down over time. You can see it on the side right there. So that'll save me from having to like manually do it. I don't know. It's not like, especially if you try to perform this song or something like that, it's not gonna work. So automation is wonderful, especially within Ableton Live. What Ableton does is it allows you to program sets, and that's where I'm hoping to get when I get good enough at it, to the point where I can just program some of my sets when live performances come back, of course. But I can kind of do, because DJing is to some people turntables, stand in front of the decks and play 40 or 50 songs for 2 hours and mix them together. Performancing is a little bit different. Performance is kind of where I like to do, what I enjoy, I should say. Sounds kind of cool already. We're not even there yet. First things first, I need to build this separately. And that's kind of how we go from the dramatic back to the... And I hate it a little bit, only because we went from dramatic to super pop and super back where we've always been. And it would be really cool if I could sit here on a live stream and work through a full-scale orchestral performance. And theoretically, I can do that in Logic, but that would be like a 12-hour live stream. And quite frankly, even then, like after 12 hours, I would be tired. You guys would be tired. My ideas would just be like, okay, I'm done. And then, it takes time to do those. I mean, there's a wonderful streamer on Twitch. Check her out. Her name's Laurel Wiley. She does streams where she builds an entire musical in one sitting. And she can do that because she's really good at it. And I am not. I've not written one musical, let alone do one every week on a live stream. So it just takes time, man. And the goal is keep working, especially if you're somebody who's doing music. Keep working, keep doing the thing. You may not like what it sounds like today, but when you keep working, in 6 months you'll love what it sounds like, and then 6 months after that you'll love what it sounds like. You'll keep getting better and better and better, and you look back and be like, well, why did I ever doubt myself? Just keep putting in the work and putting in the time. This song, by the way, is called Emerge. Kind of reminds me of the story rising from the phoenix, from the ashes, like the phoenix does. Excuse me. It's kind of that moment where you've emerged. think I need more. I just need more. I need more. I need more. Something more. Like, here's what I will do is I will work backwards this time. Normally, what I do is I try to work my way up within the build. This time, I'll work backwards. And I will. All I'll kind of do is not going to be what the final product sounds like at all. Trust me, I just got to do some editing. Yeah, super repetitive, right? Yeah. Let's see, hang on. Not quite. So I got to go in further and copy that and paste this. I think something like right about there. Yeah, something along the lines of that. Yeah, I think that'll work. And all we're gonna do, by the way, is take this and duplicate it into the next channel, but we're gonna use the other snare that's in this software because together, especially if I pan them to the sides, they sound awesome. And here's the other thing that we're gonna do. We're going back to that old trick of transforming MIDI, but we're going transforming and randomizing the velocity. But we're going to do them differently so that there's even more variation. So essentially, I'm going to randomize velocity of the first channel and call that 70, and we'll call this 100. And I'm going to randomize the second channel differently so that together they don't just sound like the same thing, they sound even more varied. It's slight, but it's what makes it so that you don't get yourself driven insane by hearing the same snare over and over again. We're obviously also going to have to automate the volume so that it rises with everything, but it'll start at this volume. Another thing I think I forgot to do is I forgot to move it. Oops, come on. It'll start at this volume, but then it will get bigger gradually over time. Over time. Let me go back in and change these to the other snare. Say 2 snares. And of course, we have to edit the toms to figure out how we want to do those. Copy that and place this right here. Ooh. That's what happened. We'll just clear that one out. So a lot of stopping and starting. If you've ever seen any of the streams from any other music producer, it's the same thing. Where just a lot of starting and stopping, and the cool part is, if you're watching this in the aftermath of it, you can just. Oops, actually, I don't want to do that. Yeah, if you're watching this in the aftermath, all you have to do is skip to the end to hear the final product. But if you're somebody who's interested in music production and you're curious about how everything gets made, tune into the whole thing. Let's move these. And then we're gonna have to. I already know we're gonna have to adjust the velocity of each and every one of these because it needs to get louder. And the question is, do I do that with velocity, or do I do that with? Oops, that's too much. Or do I do that with volume automation? We'll find out in a second when I figure out exactly. And I think this is yeah. I think what we're gonna end up doing is doing it with velocity because we have way too much headroom to work with to not do it there. So yeah, right about there is kind of where we'll. It's 80, 90, hundreds. Kind of in the 1-teens, and then these will be all out. Now you can kind of hear how it builds a bit more, which is awesome. But it still needs to build more, and I think what we'll do is we'll also adjust the kick to help with that. Just do the basic da 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 da, and then I think one more snare maybe can go on top. Maybe. I don't want to overdo it. Maybe. We'll see. We shall see. Indeed. Oops. Come on. There we go. If you guys have any questions or anything you're just curious about, please leave them in the chat. I will be happy to answer them. These need to get louder a little bit, I think. I think this needs to go up a bit more, and I think then this down here needs to also go up a tad bit more. Everything just kind of builds and increases, but that's kind of how it evolves and builds over time. We'll play it again from the beginning so we can kind of hear it in context. If I was talented enough, I'd be a conductor to do this too. Just kind of smooth it. Conductors don't even do the beat anymore, they just conduct the piece. So they might just give you a chord change. That rhythm lead is gonna have to go. It's gonna have to change. Something needs to be fixed. I don't know what. Yeah, that's what I heard. So this right here is not accurate. Missing. And I think we can take the volume of these claps kind of down a little bit. They can be more subtle and come just out of nowhere. That's essentially the kind of build that we're working with. I think there's a few more things that we can add. Let's first go in and work on this little synth here. So making EDM songs is tough because sometimes they're structured different, sometimes the sounds are. It's all about the sound choice, and when you don't even have the best sounds to pick from to start with, it can get complicated. But there's always work to be done. Hang on. So we're kind of sitting right there. I think what we'll do is let's add in this for some ambience. This little pluck right here. It's gonna have the melodic line. You're not even gonna notice it though. It's just there to add another layer of texture. Because once your ears get used to that synth and that bass and all the other sounds, then those start to pop at you. Because after, I think, if you ever listen to a song, listen to it often as you can, or often as you want to, for a couple of months, and then kind of leave it, and then go back to it. And then what ends up happening is your ears start to get used to the sounds that you hear right away, and then start to pick up on the other sounds that are in it. And that's why we need ear candy, so that the song doesn't grow old over time, simply because you've gotten used to it. This is actually a snare 1 and snare 2. We're gonna need another snare, I think. One more snare that I kind of like using. I think I used it last week. In the stream. I think, if I have it right, it's... No, it's this one? Yeah, it's this guy right here. We'll just use that as a build layer for right now. And then that way... add some reverb to it. Hang on, let's go back. Why is it... I gotta pick the mode of reverb. Concert hall has too much delay on it. Think I have ambient right now. Let's try room. Yeah, that kind of works. It's not gonna be super echoey. It doesn't need to be really, but in context. Crackle in there. This reverb is not doing what I thought it was going to do. That's the fab filter. There we go. We're gonna have to work on this for a little bit because it needs to have the sound I need to have. See how there's like so much extra echo? Nope. Plate? Nah. There's just like a secondary sound to it. I don't know why. I need to manipulate that a little bit more. That's a lot of high end, but I mean. Add another pad. It's a little chaotic, the organization to this right now. I know it does not look anything like I should have it, but that's okay. The only reason that's okay is because I still know how to know what's going on. I forgot what the next note even was. Oh, it's G. It's G. Yeah, okay. That's just this pad right here. It's called Epic Cloud Formation. It's quite literally there just for shimmer on top. Bring it up a bit. Kind of cool because what it does essentially is instead of having a choir, it mimics a choir almost. It sounds the same, pretty much at least. And no, jeez, it sounds. It's not doesn't sound exactly the same, but it serves the same purpose. So this is again from the beginning, just to listen. To figure out what we want to add to help build and what fits, what doesn't, maybe. See, the first half of the song is at 91 BPM. You're kind of feeling it at 91. Right there with the quarter note. And then the second half, it gets faster. You feel it at the eighth note, which is technically 182 BPM. why you're clipping. I know it's a lot to handle right now, but there's nothing, you're not even getting near the red. Software is being touchy. Oops, no, what do we want? We want it. I forgot what comes after that. Done, then it's done. And then maybe. Try that again. Hang on. Oh. Where's the melody? That's what it is. Okay, that's what it was. And then... Oops, come on. There it is. Finally got it. I just wanted an accompanying bell line. I didn't even want, like, something extreme, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted. So it's kind of got this little bell line. Just sprinkle it on top of the melody. It sounds like this. Come on, where are you? Wow. Just sprinkle it on top. It sounds like this. Kind of cool. And then put a touch of reverb on it. We need to add some more to that, obviously. Let's play it again from the beginning, hear what we're thinking. Gotta figure out something. Something needs to go there. There's still something missing. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll resort to our old tricks and we'll add in a synth brass instrument, and I got one that I really like. Real nice and strong. We'll just add in the same progression we've heard 65 million times. It's not. Go fix yourself. There we go. Okay, we're good. All right, cool. Yeah, I want to copy it over. Yeah, so. Kind of it adds to it, I guess. We'll see. No, stop doing what I don't want you to do. There we go. Working on a laptop is painful. Hunched over all the time. Still need something. I'm not sure what it is. I gotta think of all the parts of an orchestra. Maybe that's what it just needs to do, is I need to go through and add in parts to these string harmonies. For example, I'll take a higher part in there. Maybe not an octave, because an octave just sounds too similar. It'll get lost. Maybe a fifth, maybe a third. Maybe we'll do both. Who knows? This is already a fifth, so let's see what this sounds like. In the same octave, though. We don't want that. Maybe we do. See what it sounds. It's got some texture to it. And then what we'll do is we'll do a similar harmony. A third this time instead of a fifth. And if you're curious what that means, this is not supposed to be E flat. Something ain't right. Hang on. A third of each one. G. A third of G is B. A third of D is F sharp. A third of. I don't even know what that note's supposed to be. B. Oh, it's D. Went the wrong way. A third of C is E. I went the wrong way. Yeah, there we go. So in a triad, at least, or even in any major chord, your 1 is your root, so the name of the chord. If it's a G chord, your 1 is G. And the G chord, the third of that is B, and the fifth of that is D. And so together you have this. Makes for some texture. So put it in context, you go from we'll make all of these increase in volume over time. So everything is just getting louder in your ears, and you're just like anticipating and building, and then you hit the drop. You're just getting more and more intense, and the volume doesn't necessarily make intensity, but adding different variables, especially when they fill up different parts of the frequency spectrum, that's what makes it interesting. You just have to do it strategically. So I want to add something right there, that little space, because it can't just go from 0 to 100. These toms can't. So we'll just do something like think. So, kind of like this. Actually, no, it does need to be. I was gonna say I was gonna change the velocity of those, but they need to be the same velocity because when you're doing a pickup, like 1, 2, 3, 4, da da da, that's where you kind of have a lower velocity in the first notes and then a louder one in the second. But when you're kind of doing another one, you make it fade out, da da da, kind of like that. Weird, but it's how music works. And I think, even so, what we'll do is we'll make these snares a little bit of a longer build, yes, but what'll end up essentially happening is there's less space, just empty space, in other words. There's more things going on earlier on, which allows those holes to kind of be filled, and not too much. If there's going to be a singer on it, you want to leave space, but I don't think there's going to be a singer on this one. Kind of has some more build to it now. And by the way, we've taken up 32 tracks already just because we have all this stuff to add to it. And so one of the main reasons that pop music seems so simplified and boiled down is because you don't have a 200-piece orchestra playing it. When you write for a 200-piece orchestra, you're writing 200 parts, or at least you're writing 8 or 9 to be played by 20 players. The more tracks I add to this, the more the software has trouble, and the more it just becomes complex. So, it's complex with a flavor of simple pop music. We kind of have a decent build there. Obviously, this is still a little bit empty, and we still want to add some flavors to this, right? So, the question becomes, what do we add? Gonna add... maybe if we add a synth flute instead of a regular flute, because even the brass. Let's continue the brass, I guess. Because the reason I say a synth flute is these flutes have some. These synth flutes have more attack to them, and they start right on the beat. Listen to this flute and the metronome, and you can hear the delay. You know, it doesn't start right away, so it needs to. It's not gonna help too much. So if we change it to a synth flute, we get the same texture, or we add a synth flute. Excuse me, we get the same texture, but instead of all that delay, it becomes the direct attack that's needed of a synth lead. We also have to leave some room for stuff to be added in the meantime. And this one right here is actually a good thing. Actually, it's the pluck. Where's the dart pad that I had? I had a dart pad, didn't I? Yeah, right here. Is it this guy? Oops. Yeah, we'll add you. Where'd you go? Why did you not be in here? Okay. The other thing we have to remember is sometimes pads are played with chords and whatever. If you're building chords and other instruments, don't do it with... See, like in that case, it wouldn't be a bad idea to use the pad with chords. Because there isn't any other chords, and you're now, if I throw chords in there, I'm giving some support to it. So we'll stick with fifths for right now. Fifths are known as perfect fifths, and that is simply because, but we'll stick with closest. That is simply because, mathematically speaking, every octave is double the frequency. If you have a note at 1,000 hertz, the next octave up is 2,000. The fifth is directly in between, so it is 1,500, roughly. And the reason that kind of sounds cool and perfect is because the harmonics are similar enough to where it sounds like an octave, but not as perfect as an octave, because an octave has the same harmonics, if you think about it. So these notes have texture to them, but there's no dissonance. It's complicated. I'm just gonna play. I think what I might need to do is maybe we'll keep that one around, but we need to layer it with something else. That lead synth, it still needs to poke through the same way and be super aggressive, but it needs to be different. It needs to be layered. Whoop, not the one. Okay. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what these sound like together. Oh, you need to go up an octave. You need to go up an octave, like way up an octave, because if you're down like that, you sound like techno. We don't want techno. So now we've got. Maybe a larger cut on the frequencies. And maybe that's just not the instrument. Who knows? See that one. They're kind of too much like each other. Let's try this one. Now this one we can probably take down an octave, which is annoying, but we work with what we got. Nah, it's not a 1. Bring it up an octave. It kind of sounds like a trumpet. I didn't really realize that. It kind of sounds like a trumpet. In context. Think this can go there, yeah. And then we need. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll just have this clap going the whole time, and then we'll just add in another clap later for the texture. See, that's supposed to be the big hurrah. And the other mistake I may have made was just having it go too long in the beginning. We'll see when we get there. When we get further down in the project, if that was a mistake or not. And if it was, we'll resolve it. But that may not happen tonight. We will see. I think for right now, what we're going to do is... Come on. Move. There we go. We're going to stick with just adding this clap in. And this is definitely quarter notes, which we don't want. We want eighth notes. Wait, we want this. Yeah, and that is super loud and super sharp. We'll edit that in just a second when we get there. But essentially what this does is it builds a layer. So instead of saying we're going to use one clap really loudly, and that's a 1-layer cake. We're making a 10-layer cake, and we're using a couple claps, a couple snares, and a couple of other instruments. And what it does is it gives us the more elements that we have, which I don't always subscribe to this theory, but the more elements that we have, the more than we can build things and layer them on. And I messed up. I didn't do it. Yeah, okay. Simple mistake. I didn't start in time. Here we go. So, essentially, what we're doing is by adding more things, the end product has 10 layers to it, and that gives us a chance to. Oh, great. Yeah, I got it. That gives us a chance to add layer by layer by layer and take our time doing so. We don't want to take too much time, but here's what we got. And I think I already kind of know what I want to do for the kick pattern for that. So we're gonna try and finish this drop so that we can kind of give ourselves some skeleton to work with in the future. So stop that. Sometimes the software is like a toddler. It will not do what you say, no matter how hard you try and how nice you are. And if my father or mother is watching, I swear I was never like that. Yeesh. Hope everybody's been having a wonderful weekend, and I hope the people are staying safe out there, and enjoying themselves, but being aware of the ongoing crisis that we have. It's still possible to have fun in the home. I promise you, I've been doing it. Netflix, Hulu. It's possible. You just gotta work a little bit harder at it. But I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Tune in for some playoff football. Or not really playoff football in a week or so. My father seems to think he seems to think I was a difficult child. That's okay though. I think everybody was a difficult child, to be fair. That was kind of cool. I wish I could record that. A little delay there that was added. Oh man. Whoops. That's not right. Hang on. Oh, that's what happened. Okay, so I should have copied the whole thing, and somehow I didn't. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, that looks more accurate. Yeah. So I need a killer snare. is the simple fact of it, because the whole thing could be brought down and ruined simply by the snare. So we got to pick a good one first. I mean, we got some good ones in that one, but these are more for hip hop songs. I got a couple other packs that we're gonna try to use for the first time. We'll see. See what this one sounds like. Oops, I don't even know what that was. Ugh, really? Don't play me. Okay, that was kind of cool. Maybe layered with the clap, some of those will work. That one's super dubstep. Super dubstep. Ooh. I like that one though. Let's use this one right away at least, and then if we want to change it, I will work on that after the stream and fix it if it needs to be fixed. But for right now, we're gonna layer this with the clap that we already have in there, so that we got some consistency going. And then that way, because and here I might be weird for this, but I like to do this kind of scientifically. Um, Music is technically supposed to be an expression of your emotions and feelings, and that's technically true. The way that I use the emotional aspect of it is, I'm when I'm picking sounds, I kind of pick the sounds that I think uh, can inspire those emotions. But mathematically speaking, and logically speaking, when you go through, it's songs having consistency and stability makes a lot of sense. So hearing some sounds in the beginning, like a drum and a clap and a snare or whatever, and a synthesizer, and then hearing a different set of sounds, but then going back to those original sounds, just allows for something for the listener to. It's like if you're standing on a lily pad in the middle of a lake, before you take your step, or not maybe lily pad, maybe stones, if you take a step to the next stone, before you do that, you want to make sure that stone is stable. So you kind of go on to that stone and you experience it. It's a brand new thing, cool. And then when you're ready, you go back to what you're familiar to. I'm sure none of that made sense, but we're gonna hear what this sounds like. So. Jeez. Holy crap. That was a lot louder than I thought it was. Hang on. And then I gotta layer these together, so. Alright, it doesn't sound too bad, but it needs some work. So. Is that even the right one? Yeah, it is. Hang on. Need to add some reverb to it. Not that much reverb. Just some tighter room reverb. Can still sustain for quite a while, but it needs to be tighter. And then add some EQ. Let's keep the crackle. That's about right there. hats real quick as well. Thanks for tuning in, Robert. I will see you next week on the next stream if you tune in. Much appreciated. Appreciate the support. Whoops, I accidentally hit the wrong key in the middle of it. Whoops, that's okay. Well, we will fix it. We just did. Here's what I got. Here's what I want to do. I got to cheat the system a little bit. Normally, I would just add straight 8th notes, or just 16th notes, whatever they are. I want to quantize them and adjust their velocity in such a way that I'm going to do this. The reason I'm doing this is because you can only really quantize and then randomize the velocity in steps. So I do the 8th notes first. I randomize their velocity. 100 to 127. And then I copy them, paste them in the 8th in between. Of course you can. In between. And then while I still have them selected, then I retransform, or not retransform it, excuse me, I lower it, because essentially what's going to happen is it's going to sound like a real drummer. You're going to put more emphasis on the actual 8th notes and less emphasis on the 16ths. So it kind of gets that feel to it. And then that's only on one side. We're going to copy that and go to the other side, but we got to change which hat it's on. And then together, it's like a power couple right here. Sounds dope, doesn't it? We're going to join those two together and loop them the rest of the way. And then you have a drop that sounds like this. And now the cool thing is I haven't even added the subwoofer yet. And what I'm going to do is take the synth bass note. Is this the right synth bass? Is this deep wave? No, that's not even the synth. That's the lead. I'm reading wrong. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take the synth bass notes and chop them. So they're going to be repetitive 8th notes as opposed, or 16th notes as opposed to long droning quarter notes. I think this is just, yeah, it's just, there we go. Bring them back. So they have, somehow that is not as satisfying. What I wanted was 16th notes. So what we're going to get is 16th notes. It's going to be right here. But we need separation between each note. So if we zoom in really far and cut it down even further, we're going to do the same thing we did with this that we did with the other thing, which is just randomize the velocity. Again, it's just to make it show it's not so repetitive. Maybe not that hot though. Yeah. And this way it just kind of gives it a... You can kind of hear it in the chop. Well, then you're going to say, well, then there's no low end. There's absolutely no bass. You're right, because what we're going to do is we're going to insert a sub bass. And this is just going to worry about occupying all of the lower frequencies. So anything pretty much below, or 80 hertz and below. So it's got to be a lower octave than the chop bass. So I usually use that chop bass for texture and the sub bass for pitch. So that's like super low. Maybe we don't want it that low. We're gonna have it at that octave, then we're gonna bring the chop stuff up a bit. Come on. There we go. There we go. And then from the beginning, this is what we've essentially started with, and this is what we're kind of ending with. Still some adjustments that definitely need to be made, but we've already been going for about 2 hours, so. Kind of starts out with like a Serengeti soundtrack. I don't even know what you call that ending. I know what I need. Yeah, we need to add some more stuff. Hang on a second. Because I'm definitely missing the build that second time around. And who knows, maybe I'll switch it up and do a cut instead. All of those are edits that I will make, once again, after the stream, probably. So you guys will just have to hang in there. You can tune into my SoundCloud, same username as all the other socials or other social media. And when I do finish the songs from streams, I post them there, and then I'll post about them, and then you can check them out. There's one thing I think I wanted to add right here. That is what's called a downing boom. It's a falling effect. So I got my riser. And then I got my ooh. The problem with the falling effect, as you can hear the software clipping once again, is it has presence at like 40 hertz. I don't really need that. But it does do something a little extra. So here's the deal. We're about two hours now. I haven't had dinner yet. I need to go have some dinner. You guys need to have some dinner as well. Think what we're going to do is, this is the first, again, this is only the second time I've been on Twitch, streaming on Twitch. So I think there's only one person tuned in. Whoever you are, shout out to you. And that's okay. Whoops. Okay, I need you to stop. I'm gonna see who's live, and we're gonna go try and raid them for the first time and see if Nick is still. He is not. I don't think. I think he's done for the day, right? Yes, he just finished. So maybe we will not be able to raid anybody tonight. Okay, I think we will. Maybe we will. There's a streamer named Cat McDowell. We're gonna try and raid her. It's only gonna be 2 people, but that's okay. I'm gonna play this one. I'm gonna play this one more time. Um, that's not what I wanted. Hang on, go back to. I'm gonna play this for you guys one more time, and then we're going to call it a night. We're gonna go raid somebody and call it a night. So thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a comment below. Give me a follow on social media, and I appreciate the support. Enjoy.
mountains and shading with a ballpoint pen on this slippery surface.
Oh no.
No.
Hi, my name is Kat, and I do music and art streams.
Wow, now that is someone I'd like to link up with. Step into a world where being your true self is your glow up. I mean, you gotta be you to find your whomever, right? Put yourself out there. Join Tinder today.
In the queue